Hello and welcome to a video about tarot cards and psychoanalysis. Let's begin. So, in psychology, they have these little exercises where they'll have a person draw a picture of something simple like a house or a person, a tree, an animal, a vehicle. And from how the way the person draws the object, you make various psychological inferences about their personality. So, as an example, to get your mind right, I've drawn a picture of this house. What can we psychoanalyze from a house? Well, in psychology, often everything symbolizes something. So the fact that my sky background is blank would mean that I don't have much going on upstairs, or I am keeping things not hidden. Maybe it means I'm a psychological blank slate. There's also the roof. I have no detail on my roof. That means that perhaps it might feel that I am safe or comfortable, or that I am a blank slate as far as other people looking in. I'm not hiding from people as far as what's going on in my mind. But when you look at other details, you see, well, I've drawn some pretty hasty windows here, but they do have the little window pane things in them. Or to the extent that compared to the rest of the detail on these things, the windows are slightly barred, which means that either the windows would represent either me looking out or the way I perceive people looking at me. So it would mean that between me and the way other people perceive me, perhaps I am slightly guarded. Same thing with the door with the knob on it. The door is shut. I need people to come at me for a certain way. It says that I am at least somewhat guarded. Same thing with the walkway. If we move the picture up a little bit, I have a very long, slightly winding walkway. That means I prefer to hold people at a distance maybe, or maybe I don't let people into my life as readily as they could be. It's not a straight line, it's not short. However, the fact that I've drawn ground underneath the house would suggest that I'm basing my life on reality. And I have my imagination and my persona and maybe my outlook on the world is well grounded. I guess that would mean in traditional psychology. What I haven't drawn is any ornate kind of bush. It doesn't mean that I'm too grounded, because the more shit you have built up in front of the house kind of means the more grounded you are. There's also symbolism to read in, what kind of decor you've got on the house. I could have made shingles up here. I could have made aluminum siding or something. I could have put a storm door in front of the door. That's all stuff that you can look into when you're psychoanalyzing. But look here, what is arguably the most detailed part of my house? Look at that chimney. It's got smoke coming out of it. It's got the brickwork, the off-centered top. That's a phallus symbol, which would probably, in traditional psychology, it would mean that I'm probably more obsessed with, phallic things, maybe my own. I guess it's my house, so it'd have to be my own, right? Hopefully. But, maybe I'm even compulsive, or would it be impulsive? No, compulsive. As far as the amount of detail I put on the phallic symbol of the house compared to the rest of it. And the fact that the smoke, you might argue, is like I'm almost expressing myself in that way. So anyway, that should give you at least a vague idea of, psychoanalyzing pictures. So, how do we apply the practice to tarot readings? Let's take a random card out of my tarot deck and try it. It's the Page of Swords. First of all, this is a little off topic, but when these cards are upside down, we're psychoanalyzing, and that's the approach I take to reading tarot cards. So when something's upside down, what are we changing here? The meaning? No, all the same stuff is there, but it's just upside down. So what I'm changing is the perspective. Let's say in a normal reading, you would represent the Page of Swords as yourself. But when you flip it and reverse it, maybe that's you looking at someone else, or, if we are going in a first person point of view, now we're looking at another person. So I guess when you invert it, the page becomes someone else and not you. Okay, let's psychoanalyze the Page of Swords. Look at all the detail going on in this little hill here. He almost looks gigantic compared to the earth. So we might, first of all, off the bat, whether we're identifying this Page of Swords as ourselves or someone else in our lives, we would say that this person is sort of fairly, what would the word be? Not megalomaniacal. But I don't know, he definitely feels like he's bigger than he is in the world. Whatever word you use to describe that. Lots of clouds in the sky, too. You could say that the Page of Swords has a stormy mind, cluttered by lots of maybe even anxiety, or maybe a lot of maybe defensive thoughts. When people get defensive and they don't want to own up to their own, what are the things we are inhibited about? God, I can't think of the word. But hopefully you know what I mean. When we're being defensive about something, about our shortcomings or things like that, that cloud is like a smoke screen. There's also, look at these fucking birds up here. What do they mean? Well, birds flying up above your head could mean they could mean an imaginary person protecting us. They can mean fleeting thoughts. They could mean paranoia, like these birds are looking down on them, watching them. I would kind of think maybe paranoia fits well with this Page of Swords, seeing as how they have a, the cloudy, maybe stormy mind. Look at these fucking trees back here. The wind's blowing on them. Could it mean that the Page of Swords, his phallic symbol, is going through some stormy weather? Or causes them some, some other anxiety or stress, or something that they fear being discovered by other people. That's all stuff you look at. And then, of course, there's the sword, too. That's very phallic. It's being guarded closely. It looks like he's in a defensive position anyway, which you could read into psychologically. But he's also, it's almost like he's guarding the sword, and he's not using the sword to guard himself. So what does that mean if we're looking at it as a phallus symbol? But also, this is a tarot card. It's not a drawing that somebody made of themselves that we're psychoanalyzing. So you do somewhat have to keep the original intent or the traditional symbolism in the card when you look at it. So you are going to have to look at all these things, like swords represent something. It's an air sign. It's an overall airy card. But really what we're doing is, I'm going to look at if I'm just throwing this out in almost any kind of tarot reading, the summation is like swords represent maybe ideas and goals a lot of the time. And when you have this Page of Swords where he's standing on a hill in stormy weather in a guarded position, maybe this Page of Swords or the querent is going through a sort of paranoid phase, or they're feeling like they're being attacked, or they feel like maybe their ideals in life are being kind of challenged by a certain situation. That's all various ways you would look at that card. So really what you're doing is kind of combining that idea of analysis with the other idea of, the symbolism in the cards and what the original intent of the cards. You're kind of blending the two and sort of making the whole thing your own, which is also going to depend on the context of the spread, so to speak. So you look at all those things, and that's how you read these tarot cards psychoanalytically. Thank you for watching.